Yo, what's good, man? This is G Tony Starks, reporting live from the Lower East Side, man. You know what I mean? Like I said, man, I'm gonna bring y'all a little history from back in the days. You know what I mean? How the Lower East Side used to be. You know? So this is my second video. I hope you enjoy it. But I got something real interesting to show y'all, right? So I'm on East Houston Street right here, right? I'm on the oh, just to let everybody know, man, the stories that I talk about it's like more than 20 years ago. You feel me? It ain't nothing recent. If I do mention any names, it's people that are no longer here, or I got their permission to say their name. But or they just out the game, and you know, they just work. They're not in the streets no more. So yeah, so let's get to it. So I'm right here on East Houston Street, right? So across the street real quick. Real quick. So as you can see, we in front of, this is a monumental place right here, Cat's Deli. Everybody from all over the world be coming here. The lines be like 2 blocks. You dig? But what people don't know is this. I'm gonna show y'all right now, because we on East Houston Street and Ludlow. This is what people don't know. Hold on, let me wait for the light real quick. Right? So now we on the corner of Cats right here. So people don't know, this used to be a heroin block right here. This used to be a dope spot, 24/7. The person that used to run the spot, his name was Crazy Eddie. That was the actual name of the spot, Crazy Eddie. You know what I'm saying? And one of my mans that I came up under, his name is Marco. You know what I'm saying? He's Dominican. He was like one of the first generations to come out here from the 70s and shit. Catch a wreck, nothing to play with. Marco Hellraiser. If you look up Clayton Patterson, he's famous, like he's like a activist slash photographer. You know what I mean? He's been around since the 70s in the Lower East Side. He captured so many pictures and videos of the drug era back in the 70s and 80s and 90s in the Lower East Side. So he came out with like maybe 2 or 3 books. Marco is in that book. He made a little story about him. So wait up. So right here, I'm gonna show y'all. See, this building never used to be here. This big building, and so that's the Indigo Hotel right there. If you look at my last video, I talk about Mr. Purple on the rooftop over here. They got a bar, they call it Mr. Purple or whatever. But anyway, here used to be like 3 buildings just like those, with steps in the front. And they used to connect, you know what I'm saying? And this whole block right here, as you can see right now, back in the late 80s, early 90s, used to be a heroin block. You see Sweet Chicks right there? Nas owned that and shit, but Yeah, this is an ill block right here, man. This is crazy, you know. Tourists come from all over the world to eat right here in Cats, and they don't even know that back in the days this was a Heron spot. Word of mother, never used to look like this. Abandoned buildings, looked at all crazy. My man Rob from my building used to be a manager for this spot too, for the dope spot or whatever, and shit like that. But word, man, this is crazy, right? Ludlow Street on the Lower East Side, right off of East Houston, where Cats is at. And you know what? My little introductions of each block that I show you, or you know, whatever the case may be. If I have a story, I'll tell you our story. So I got an ill story about this block right here, right? So I used to see my man Marco, this other dude named Marcus, you know, a couple of dudes doing their things. They was the workers or whatever, you know what I mean? So once in a while, you know, my moms used to come and hang out in the park. So I used to sneak off on my bike, you know what I'm saying? I was like 12, 13 years old. So I used to sneak off on the bike and all that. And I just, you know, just scope out the scenery. I don't know, it was just fascinating to me how niggas used to, how dudes used to make fucking $1,500, $2,500 within an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours and shit like that. You know what I mean? So one day, hold up, let me not get hit by a car. So one day I sneak off to the block. I was with my boy Eric. You know what I mean? So it was hot this particular day. So we on the other side, Stanton Street, and we just, you know, we just looking, watching like nosy kids, you know what I'm saying? So back in the days when it used to be hot, cops used to be rolling in, they used to stash the bundles of dope inside the gas tank of the cars. So this particular day I'm watching, and I seen police rolled up on a couple of busties, locked them up or whatever. So I seen Marco, you know what I'm saying? I told him this years later when I got older and shit like that. He's like, oh, you motherfucker. I'm gonna tell you why the story is so ill. Because, right, so I'm watching, and he's going up the block and he's just stashing, like, you know, like 2 bundles in one gas tank of the car. Like, he had like 5, 6 cars, you know, with the hammer, with bundles inside the gas tank and shit like that, right? So they break out or whatever. So me and my boy Eric, well, not Eric, but mostly me, I go and I start taking them out. It was about maybe like a G pack, or maybe a little more, maybe like $1,200 worth. So I take it and I jet on my bike. When I jet on my bike, I go back to where my mom's is in the park, and I'm looking, I'm like, yo, what I'm gonna do with this shit? So I get back on my bike and I go to my neighborhood, to Avenue D. I go over there and I seen, I'm not gonna mention his name, but I seen somebody that used to do their thing hard. So I said, yo, look what I found. So his eyes opened up. He's like, yo, I'll give you $200 for that. But I already knew at that time, like, how much it was worth. I said, nah, you bugging, bro. $200, you bugging. But at the same time, I was nervous holding it. So I'm like, yo, give me $400 and you can have it. So he gave me the $400, B. Word of mother. So this is the ill part of the story. There used to be a dope fiend that I seen from time to time growing up. He was real tall, like real tall, like 6 foot something. What was interesting about this dude, he had a birthmark on his face, like an ill birthmark. He looked ill, like he was light skinned. He had a dark birthmark right here. That's how I remember him, right? But he always used to play that block because he was one of them dudes that try to hustle and get a bag here and get a bag there, you know, just hustling for his hit. Like, so when I came back, I was open, I had the money in my pocket. So Marco come up to me like, yo, He's like, yo, G, you was around here? Did you see anything funny? I said, nah, I seen cops and shit. He said, yo, you ain't seen nobody go next to the cars? I said, yeah. I don't know why I said this, man. Please, God forgive me, man. You know I changed my life and all that. But I said, yo, that tall dude. The tall dude with the birthmark in his face. And he turned back to Marcus, his man. He said, see, I told you. Yo, I ain't think nothing of it. So I roll out. I go to Delancey. Right? I go to Delancey Street. Excuse me. I go to Delancey Street. And I cop me an outfit, pair of sneakers, boom, boom, boom. I go back to my mom's. She's like, yo, where you got that at? I said, oh, I told her like a lie. I said, my friends, this is how ill I was, bro. I said, yo, nah, my friend, I bumped into my friend. His father called a lawsuit. I said some crazy shit like that. He bought me a little, she was like, and she went for it. She was like, you know, my mom's old school, whatever. So, yo, check this out, bro. Like 3 hours later, we walking back to the spot I just showed y'all, Lolo Street. Yo, they carrying this tall dude, the dolphin I'm telling you about, in a fucking stretcher, bro, into the ambulance, bro. They beat him up with a bat, stomped him out. You know what I mean? He ain't even know why. Type shit, yo. God forgive me again, man. You know what I'm saying? I was a kid, man. I ain't know, you know. But anyway, yeah, he made it and all that. You know, he was bruised up or whatever. He was good. But yeah, they beat the shit out of him, man. For real, for real. But anyway, I just showed y'all a little monumental block, you know what I mean, right around the corner from Cats, you know what I'm saying? And everything I speak about is 100% facts. You can look this up, you can Google it, you know what I'm saying? My man Marco went to the feds at the age of he was super young. He was like 18 years old, bro. I remember he did like 3 years behind that block. 3 or 4 years or something like that. Crazy Eddie ended up being a rat. You know what I'm saying? Everybody did their time for that. Nobody ratted except the dude that owned the block. Ain't that some shit? But anyway, it was him and his brother. But I hope y'all like my little video of the Lower East Side, man. I will continue to give y'all a little more history of the Lower East Side, how it was back in the days. You know what I mean? Peace and love. And I'll see you on the next one, kid. Get the fuck out of here.